Next up, at UFC Seattle, we have the main card opener, another brand spanking new fight. Added to the fight card, we got Alonzo Menifield taking on Julius Walker. Alonzo Menifield, 15-5 in his career, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off back-to-back knockout losses. He's taking on Connecticut's own Julius Walker. We lost Billy Ray Goff, who was from Connecticut, but we got Julius Walker.
He's fine. He just lost his fight.
Yeah, we didn't lose his. Yeah, he's on Earth.
Lose his toenails.
Yeah. Okay. Julius Walker, undefeated, 6-0, making his UFC debut. Alonzo Menifield, we know by now. Jakey boy saw him at LA Fitness. Was he a monster in real life, Jacob?
I was pretty surprised how not tall he was.
Oh, really? Did he look
like 5'11", I think. He's
huge, though?
I was taller than him by a while. And he looked
pretty
confused. He looked confused. He looked like, why am I here?
Like that's not his gym. He was just in town getting a workout in.
I didn't even see him work out because I was there and he never was working out. So I don't know if he just was in the sauna or went to the pool or I don't know. Maybe he was playing basketball. I don't know. There's a lot of people playing basketball at that LA Fitness for sure.
Well, there you go. Either way, Jakey boy saw him at the gym, putting in the work, and he did just pop up.
Well, I just said he wasn't putting in the work.
True. Good point. He did just pop up on this card. He was not scheduled to fight, and yet here he is. And neither was his opponent, Julius Walker, in his UFC debut. Alonzo Menifield, tons of power, typically pretty good takedown defense. He's always looking to take your head off with every punch that he throws. Striking can be wild, can be a little sloppy at times, but the power is absolutely undeniable. Very dangerous guy. Can't always trust the game plans or the decisions, especially if he's hanging out there with Pat Barry telling him to run forward as fast as he can. And he is coming off back-to-back knockout losses, most recently to Azamat Murzakanov, where he was marching forward. He was eating some shots, and then ultimately couldn't eat him anymore. Taking on UFC newcomer Julius Walker. Julius Walker is insanely early in his MMA career. He is undefeated. He is 6-0. He has only been a professional fighter for 2 years. For 2 years. And the inexperience can show. He can end up in bad positions at times. He can be forced to rely on athleticism to get through situations. He's definitely flashy. He's got a little bit of power. There are some holes in the takedown defense, but he's defensively sound enough to avoid easy submissions. Good offensive BJJ as well. But at the end of the day, off his back, he's throwing up triangles, making shit happen.
Good offensive BJ.
I said BJJ.
Grow up, come on.
Yeah, guys, get it together. Listen, I mean, I saw this. I did the 2 minutes of tape study. I looked at his 2 years of professional fighting experience. Not only is it 2 years of professional fighting experience, 4 of the 6 fights are in the last year. Like, this guy is green, brand new to the sport, immediately being catapulted to a guy that's been fighting at a pretty high level for a pretty long time. I got to go Menifield here. I saw it. I immediately picked him. I immediately bet him. I have a full unit on him at -140. I placed the other day. He's now -205. The reality is, yes, Alonzo's getting a little older. And yes, he was just knocked out twice, but he was knocked out by Carlos Ulberg, who you could argue deserves a title shot. And then Azamat Murzakanov, who's very good as well. And, you know, Julius is undefeated, so you just never know how good an undefeated guy is until they just stay undefeated or eventually lose. But I just don't, unless you're BJ Penn, you can't go from 0 to 2 years to beating pretty high-level guys. I just don't see that happening. I think it's too much too soon. Menifield's a pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Alonzo Menifield, former lock of the week. Was not a lock of the week winner. That was a draw. I think the only draw ever for lock of the week fight. They took this guy fucking 5 rounds to beat Jimmy fucking Crute, and it really pissed me off, and I always reference that. But if you watch Alonzo Menifield fight lately, I think he's really fucking regressed. And I don't think he's with Pat Barry anymore. I think on his Instagram or something, he's at like some random Muay Thai place in like North Dallas or something like that. He's not even at Fortis anymore, I don't think. 37, almost 38 years old at this point. I was an Alonzo Menifield fan. He seems like a great guy. But it just seems like he's regressing. But I will say that this fight feels like the narrative around this fight feels like the Vince Morales fight, where Vince Morales was like everybody's favorite dog, and he nearly fucking pulled it off, right? I almost made him my lock of the week for that very reason. I had submission, I had second round submit inside the decisional action, so I also wasn't quite all over Vince Morales, but the public was very high on Vince Morales, and it could be the same type of situation. I see a lot of people like the dog and Julius Walker. I like the dog. I'm picking the dog because I think Alonzo just isn't that guy that people think he is, and I think Julius can get this fight on the ground and do what he wants to do, but it feels like there's so many people on Julius Walker that it might end up looking like the Vince Morales fight where you see that moment, but after all, Alonzo is savvy enough, the veteran enough, and talented enough kind of in every aspect that he ends up winning the fight. But I'm going Julius here. I just don't love Alonzo's game anymore. I mean, some of those strikes he was throwing, he's like off balance and stuff. It's like, it just doesn't seem like he's really like honed in and dialed in, bouncing around gyms, stuff like that. So I'm going Julius here. I hope he pulls it off.
Yeah, you're done. I'm on the Menifield side, obviously. I bet that side, $8,700 in DraftKings Fantasy. I think he could potentially find a finish. I'm going to leave that alone, though. I just don't know enough about Julius and the trouble he may or may not get in and how he'll respond. So I'm going to leave that alone. I do have that bet. I'm pretty confident in that bet, especially after seeing the line movement. You can unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else right now at WeWantPicks.com.